welcome back to the Hyphen. I am Cherelle.
And I'm Sade.
And today we had an amazing experience and we just want to share with you all. It's a beautiful Saturday. We decided to come by the studio so we could talk a little bit about our days.
Well, today was a beautiful day for me. You know, how we say everything happened for a reason. And look how we left late this morning.
Yup.
And we still got there on time. And we went today. Go ahead.
No, man. Did you know I song association? I was about to start singing.
Go ahead.
I'm not always there when you call, but I'm always on time. Okay, go ahead.
But today we went to feed the homeless in downtown, and it was such a rewarding experience for me.
I agree. And I think going into it, I knew we were doing something like good, so to say, or something like giving back, but I didn't realize like the impact that it was going to have on me. Like just bringing, I don't know if I should say bringing everything full circle, but it was another one of those moments where like I couldn't have enough gratitude for just life and the journey itself. And like while we thought we were going out to help them, which we did, like they also gave back to us. And I wasn't expecting that. What about you?
No, I wasn't. And girl, when I tell you, it was like we were feeding them the physical food, but they was feeding us the spiritual food.
That's some real stuff.
It was, because look how that guy, he didn't know us from Adam or Eve. And he came up to us and said, I want to pray with y'all.
Yep.
And it was powerful.
And he was like speaking over us. Like it wasn't no general pray. It was almost like, I don't know. It was personal almost. But he didn't know anything about us.
Nothing. And it was personal, but he was praying about our increase.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? And you would think in a situation, you know, the old me would think in a situation like that, like, I wouldn't even want to even believe in, you know, God, if I'm homeless. But to just experience that today, it took me to another level of appreciation, grace, and mercy. And look how the guy said he's a living testimony.
Yep.
And some people look how you a living testimony, but just it was touching. It was rewarding. It was an emotional day for me, but in a positive way. It was growth. It was growth for me.
And again, I think it also like put that stamp of approval on, like, you just show up as yourself and that's enough. Because what we do, we went out there, I had to go, hi y'all, what we doing? Hey, like talking to people, embracing people. Like they were just people at the end of the day. Like I didn't see them as like, here, you can have this, but
don't touch you.
It was like I wanted to like embrace them because they were giving so much. I mean, to me, like we were giving to them.
Right.
And so like it started off with, like, of course, people just coming to the table and speaking to us, and then they would like stand around to like observe us more and come back and say different stuff. And then the one guy, he's like, I'm y'all security, like y'all just go ahead and do what y'all. It was a rewarding day. And to then like think about it in terms of, it took maybe an hour of our time. Like we said, we was gonna roll longer, like getting there
than it was to serve them. And no complaints, nothing, just appreciative. And just relating it to my life, I'm so appreciative of what I've been through. You know, like I said, you know, we said before, I told you earlier, 3 years ago, I can remember laying in my bed in January, crying, praying, Lord, you know. And now in 2023, I'm here helping someone else. And then they're a spiritual blessing to me.
And I think like when you think about January and the significance of like your winter months, when we compare the seasons, like the seasons outside to like the seasons in our lives, January is like very slow, like cold. It's almost like things are dying. But a part of us died 3 years ago, so we thought, like only for 3 years later for us to realize how necessary that part in our lives was, like to get us where we are today and to be able to see the beauty in. I mean, it was cold outside, but it didn't even matter.
It was cold, just like our days were dark, and which seemed long. But now, as we say, time is like an illusion. But I needed that time. I needed that time to transform me into that better person, that better parent, that better everything, to love on me.
Yep. People were just like coming up and telling our stories, which it was almost like that was a reflection of what we say we want our purpose to be anyway. Like just to embrace people and meet people where they are, and encourage them wherever they are.
With no judgment.
And again, they did the same thing for us. They gave me something I didn't even know that I needed today.
They fed my soul.
And in that situation, I would have been understanding of somebody that was quote unquote greedy or that was trying to take because they didn't know where their next meal was coming from. But they were the people that would say, no, like, you know, I have enough, or I already came by and I got this, this, and this. Right. Opposed to, like I said, trying to hoard the food or trying to, you know, I don't know. It was just a different experience.
And they were very considerate.
Yep.
Because
getting
look
stuff
at
for
how,
other people.
You know, she was like, I have to get for this one, but don't give me one. I want to get for them. You know, just looking
selflessness. Right. In a situation where if they were selfish, we would have understood it. Because we condition to think when you don't have enough, or when it seems to everybody else that you don't have enough.
That broke mentality.
Yep. And they just rich and happy off life. Yep. And so many people, like the guy that prayed, his name was it Marvin? It started with Melvin. He had like his not a crutch, what is that thing called?
Walker.
His walker. You know, his overall appearance is not somebody that would have made you think like he was so, like when he opened his mouth to talk, it was like, hold on.
And because of his appearance, people would have judged him.
Yep.
And look how everyone got together in a circle, held hands, and he prayed.
Yep.
And it was a deep prayer. You know,
we did the Lord's Prayer. Like, he started off with the Lord's Prayer, then he just went into like a prophetic prayer. And it was like at the end, it was like, oh my God, like it was so emotional.
And when he stood there, even with a walker, he said, I'm a living testimony. That's deep, because you find some people don't have a walker, have a home, know where their next meal is coming from, and they still complain.
Yep.
That's the part that gets me. Like, that showed me, I feel a lot of people need to come and do that. What we did today, because I'm going to do it more.
Yeah. And he told us, like, y'all coming back? He was like, you're going to be seeing us a lot more.
They will.
Mm-hmm. I'm going to commit to that. And it was, like I said, it took maybe an hour of our day. Like, for real. An hour of our day. And we got so much and gave back. Like, started their day off with positivity and a happy smile. Because it just wasn't, like, handed food. I was, like, encouraging them and talking. And a lot of people don't have that. Like, just somebody that cares enough to, like, sit and listen.
Right.
And I remember how important that was in my journey. Like, having somebody that they may have heard it 1,000 times before, but on time 1,001, they still as invested in hearing what I had to say in that moment as they were the first time.
Right.
So, it's just been a good day.
So how'd y'all get to that?
So, one of the goals or objectives in my position was I wanted us to be more present in the community. And I'm so thankful that, like, the owner of my organization, like where I work, he is all for that too. So he came out this morning and checked on us and supported us and took pictures and stuff. But with anything that I do, I don't just want it to be about like us, meaning whatever organization. I want us to be present in the community to show like that community involvement and to give back in that way. Like, just being everything that I'm a part of, I want to help somebody else. Let's put it that way. So I sent an email blast out to staff. Whoever wanted to come could come. And that was it. And that's something that I'm going to keep doing this year. Because, you know, a lot of times in business, your focus is what you can get out of it. Like, what you can get from everybody else. Of course, you want to make money in business, but you also have to think about, why should these people invest in my company? Why should these people we have to make it welcoming. We have to show outside of those four walls that we're invested in the community. And so if I'm a community mental health agency, what better way, you know, to show people, to welcome people in than to go out on a Saturday.
But not just
give
that.
Back.
Not just that, though. We have to look at our foundation. If it wasn't for people helping us, you know, even though we fed them with food, but look how people fed us with knowledge.
Yep.
So we got to remember where we came from.
Yeah. And one of those people said that he was like, always remember.
In the prayer.
In the prayer, yeah.
He said in the prayer, remember where you came from.
Yeah.
You know, and so that's why I want to give back, not only for the business aspect, but because I know that's what built me.
Mm-hmm.
So people really took their time and invested in me, because, you know, somebody could have said, you know, one of my support system could have said, well, I'm not going to take the time today to talk to Tiffany. I'm not going to answer the phone. But they did.
Yeah.
So.
That's true.
It's important.
So true. I mean, it was just a rewarding experience. And I remember like times when we just felt like we had to have something to do, like something extravagant to do on a Saturday. Like, we had to have an outfit. We had to be going here. Like, and today, like, we really are to a point now where it's about giving back and just pouring into other people.
That's where we are on our journey.
Yep. And it feels good.
We're about pulling up the ones that want to come up and about the ones that's ahead of us, that's evolved more, pulling us up and everybody pulling together.
Yep.
It's important.
Sure, you
I
feel
want to go back there.
okay.
I am going back there. And then I want to invite the club to go, and I am going to invite the youth, some youth, to go down.
Like from church? Or which one?
Right, from the church.
Okay.
To go. You know, I just feel like it's needed. Because I told you about other thing was texting me, asking me like, would anyone show up?
Oh yeah.
Right. So I want them to get the experience as well. And I know by them going to the school, they're going to need community service hours as well. So that's a good starting point.
Yeah.
So, was there anything that y'all saw that you didn't think you were gonna see?
I think just the community that they have. Meaning everybody was just in a good mood. It's almost like they didn't even know that they didn't have, if that makes sense. Like they weren't acting like that was something that was bothering them or heavy on their minds. It was just like another day, let's make the best out of it.
Yeah, well behaved, just joyful.
Yeah.
They were joyful.
And I think that just goes to show like peace and joy is something you created within. It's not about what you have and don't have.
That's true. But you know what hit me in the chest? That hit reality for me was seeing that child. Now that hit me. I didn't expect to see that.
Yeah. And even the child was just like...
And polite.
Yep. Not asking, I want that. Just accepting. And they could have done that. That would have been fine. But even in that moment where you feel like it would have been, like you would have understood it. They were just, anything that you have, they were accepting of it. And appreciative of it.
Yes. And look how that mom even enforced the child to use manners. You know, some people will use the excuse because of where I am, I still don't have to use manners. You know, I don't have to have manners because of where I am. But she's still very polite. That surprised me. Was it anything that shocked you?
Just like I said, like everybody was just in a... And I'm not saying that to say I went expecting anything different, but I kind of didn't know one way or another. But to like really... We didn't come into contact with anybody that was disgruntled. Everybody spoke and was smiling, and it was just...
You think that comes from the picture that society has put into our head on that's how they are? That's how the homeless people are?
What you mean?
You know, when people talk about the homeless, they'll make them look like they're rowdy, or, you know, on the news, how they show that the homeless killed this one or that one, and the first thing, the picture that society paints for us for the homeless is like they're rowdy, they're angry.
Let me correct. Hold on. People first language. So individuals that are experiencing homelessness. I just said homeless, but people first. Like their condition, where they are in life, is not a reflection. It doesn't define them. So I should say people who are displaced or people experiencing homelessness. But I don't. I think because I've been in the field, like I've seen both sides, and not just people that are experiencing homeless, but just people that are in like less than favorable situations anyway. And like we did community service with my sorority and stuff. I don't know. I just feel like maybe it's the community that they've created. Like knowing, hell, maybe there were people there that weren't feeling their best, but they knew they were going to be around other people that are always warm and welcoming. So you know how that is. Like the energy that you're around at the time, a lot of times can make you feel like, all right.
Well, this was the first time for me. Yeah. So that's why, you know, I'm learning a lot about it. I have a bigger appreciation now, you know, because I've never done it.
Yeah.
But I was excited to do it, and I still am, and I'm going to do it again.
Even when they ran out of like the hot food, nobody, oh my God, you ain't.
No. Right. They still accepted what we had without an attitude.
No
just
entitlement.
So appreciative.
No entitlement in us. If we in the line at Chick-fil-A or wherever and they run out of something, I in the world, myself included, I've done
the McDonald's ice cream machine.
Yeah, but they were just kind of like, I didn't even hear anybody say anything about it.
No, they was just happy to see smiling faces. For real, like Look how the guy told me, he was like, your smile is so beautiful. Some people wouldn't even be thinking about that. Like,
Yep. Yep.
I'm just overjoyed. I am.
It was a real low-key day. Like, again, and I think that's the part of my growth that I'm like most appreciative of, is the fact like now my days don't have to be filled with like, when I say excitement, I just mean in certain settings, like, you know, we'd be at brunch somewhere, rah, 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 rah. But I can say today felt just as good, if not better, as those moments did.
It was rewarding. I learned so much today.
Yep. And it just prompts reflection within you. So I know we said that we wanted to make sure when we close out, we like give our viewers the opportunity to kind of reflect on what they may have learned or thought about while we were talking. So I'm going to ask you, and I'm going to answer after you. Where in this conversation do you place your hyphen? Meaning, well, you explain what that means. When we say, where do you place your hyphen?
What did you get out of our conversation? What's the meat of our conversation, the meaning? I'm going to say the hyphen in my conversation today is simple. Be appreciative of what you have.
And I think mine would be kind of what I said a little bit ago about like peace and joy is something that you create within. It's not about like the external factors. I mean, because we've been through what we would consider like hell in a certain way, like moments where, like I said, we had to be out and about doing something, and that in that moment we didn't realize how that was a reflection of like we weren't always at peace within. But now, like, we literally, it does not take, we just are in a constant state of peace and joy. Even if we have days where it's like we're not feeling our best, we always go back to, hold on, I got too much to be thankful for. Like, we'll sit in what we feel and process that, but it is never anything that just takes that peace meter, like, it allows that peace meter to bottom out. And so, you know, being surrounded by people who, again, if they were disgruntled or, you know, kind of upset, I would understand it. But even to see them have peace, or would appear to be peace to me, like, it was just a reflection of that's something that you definitely create within.
Yes. And another thing, I'm sorry.
No.
Another thing for me, I learned, you know, growing up, I was taught that in order to minister to someone, you had to be dressed up and look this particular way. And this guy didn't have a suit on or anything. You know, nothing fancy or flashy. And he really touched my heart. You know, he changed me in some ways that it made me appreciate life even more.
I'm trying to think of the song that he sang. He decided
For
to sing
God
a
I
song.
live, for God I die.
Yep. Everybody ought to testify. Yep. So yeah. But thank you all so much for tuning in.
So where do you put the hyphen today?
Put your hyphen and leave it in the comments below and let's talk about it. But yeah, thank you for tuning in. We hope that you got something from this, and we'll see you on the next episode.
All right.